The North American house hippo is found throughout Canada and the eastern United States.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Ooh, this jazz is jazzing this morning. How is everybody doing? H is here. Good morning, good morning. Happy debate day. Bum, 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 bum. How's everyone doing? Good to see y'all. Digging the off-brand Peanuts jazz? Yeah, me too. The copyright-free person that I use for music has so many different options for music, and I kind of love it. There's like lo-fi. Y'all heard the Christmas music. There's like happy ditties. It's all kinds of stuff. I love it. I am just waiting for my chai to finish. Hopefully y'all can hear me as I wander my kitchen. Ba-ba-bum. My tree is up. My Christmas tree is up. This is officially the latest that my tree has ever been up since I moved out of my parents' house many moons ago. So, feels good to have it up. Kiddo and I had lots of fun decorating yesterday. I think, you know, you create traditions as a kid, and then as a parent to recreate traditions is so fun. Human rights. Hell yes. I do have a new sound. I am... Nope, take it down. I'm not at my computer right now. I'm just quickly looking. I think I may have done an oops and my chai might overflow into my kitchen. Oh no, we're good. There we go. Bum, bum, bum. All right. Chai is acquired. Christmas tree is on. We're ready to look at some politics news. I think. Oh, hello, Olafin. Welcome. The people actually be centered in the debates and policies of priority over profits and economic agreements. Yeah. All right, let us see. Now that I've got all my stuff sort of together. Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Lil Taters. And Pian Fardoon is here. Ninja's here. Nick is here. Morning, Laurel and H. And Tyrion is here. Canadian Goose is here. Kevin, good morning. Who else do we have? Elemental, of course. And we've got Phil Taylor and Kane and Irascible Atlantic. When does the debate start tonight? It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm hoping to be live about a half an hour. Hey, PCH. I'm hoping to be live about half an hour beforehand. Kiddo was going to my grandparents, so her great-grandparents, for the evening, so that I can focus on the live. So hopefully half an hour before-ish, maybe a little less depending on how that transition goes. Can't wait for the Christmas music in the stores to end. Yeah, I'm one of those super annoying people. I love Christmas music, but I will say that I much prefer instrumental than singing. I will say that. Yeah, that's my thing. Be kind to yourself, Elemental. Also, if you guys want to watch the chaos that is May and Elemental playing video games, you should scroll back through some of Elemental's VODs, because we played Mines of Moray the other night, and pure chaos ensued. And it was a good time. Conduct the ritual sacrifice of chicken milk. Oh, that I haven't done yet. That I have not done. Yeah, I can see working retail ruining that. Okay, some of this jazzy jazz is starting to get repetitive, so let's switch albums. I'm not good to watch on VOD with no background. I know, but it was pure chaos and it was very funny and I had a great time. All right. Let's take that down about 7 notches. There we go. GW. What's GW? I should, Elemental. Tuesday was my day off. That was a normal day off. I just hung out and chilled and did a May Day. Yesterday was a crash day. I was hoping to be live yesterday, and I just, like, my entire being was like, how about we sit in existential dread for a few hours instead? So I did that for a few hours, which was awful. And then we put up the Christmas tree. And now it's a little better. It's always a race between the seasonal depression and when I get the Christmas tree up, because I do find that it helps having some cozy lights in the room. Games Workshop saying, oh, okay. Is that what it's supposed to sound like? I'm so bad with that kind of stuff. Thank you, Olafin, for the post in the NDP. I appreciate you. Laser guns that sound like sneezes. Okay, we have a couple of things that I want to do this morning. Mostly I want to go through, we're going to turn this off for a minute. Mostly I want to go through sort of what each candidate has posted as far as platforms. And I think Avi Lewis is the only one with an official platform, but a lot of them have posted on social media. Like Rob Ashton has his like back to work things. So other thing that I want to start with is this. Oh dear, the hiccups have started. We playing funk? Alright. We're going to start with this morning. This is 5 things to know about the NDP debate this evening. Chat a little bit for a second. 5 contenders to lead the NDP will meet in Montreal. NDP insiders are also hoping the first official debate of the party leadership will help the NDP revitalize its brand in Quebec, with the 2011 Orange Crush now in distant memory. So, number 1, it's going to be 60% a French debate. They're in Quebec, that makes sense. The all-Anglophone crop of contenders will be given a bit of grace, with debate organizers announcing an official language breakdown of 60% French and 40% English. Hey, Dr. Badstrings. Hey, Faya. Contestants have also been given the option to wear earpieces, translating the French bits to English. And a party spokesman told the National Post that the earpieces were okayed after a number of contestants specifically asked for them. The 60-40 ratio will be strictly enforced. If a contestant chooses to answer in English in a section designated to be in French, they will be cut off by the moderator. I have to figure out how to get that. If you guys want to watch the debate in French, then Faya is also going to be streaming the debate this evening. Faya knows French much better than I do and lives in a French-speaking part of the country. So if that's what you would prefer to watch the debate in French, then head on over to Faye's channel to watch the debate this evening. Secondly, media coverage is pay to play, which is kind of, I don't know if that's a traditional thing. It's not just the candidates who need to fork over an entrance fee. Members of the press also have to pay. These ranging in costs from $100 to $2,000. They have to pay for on-site coffee and tea services. You grew up in Quebec. I was like, what's her connection again? That's right. The big three will jockey for position. Yeah, that's odd, hey? They really, really are desperate for that money. All eyes will be on the three early favorites, Heather McPherson, Avi Lewis, and Rob Ashton. We're going to take a look at that after. Showed all three in the mix with McPherson holding the early edge in name recognition. Yeah, it's a little tacky. But again, I don't know if that's the norm or not. One second, I gotta sneeze. Okay, we're back. Members of the press too, yep. McPherson made good first impression with white-collar workers, degree holders, and immigrants. Ashton, of course, is exciting the blue-collar workers, lower income, and those without university degrees. Also on hand will be Danielle Johnson and Tony McQuail. They both raised enough money to be able to be in the debate, which is super awesome. While the race has seen few fireworks, McPherson did ruffle some feathers by calling for the party to relax ideological purity tests, which we have talked about a few times. Leah Gazan said soon after that she was appalled and deeply disappointed by McPherson's framing, calling it dismissive of marginalized voices within the party. She shouldn't be using language that the right uses to slam the left. Johnson recently told the National Post that she voiced concerns about her word choice, adding that she was disheartened that the language was later doubled down on. And a huge endorsement is at stake. Yeah. Yeah, and especially because, we'll get to that in just a sec. I'm going to finish this one and then I'll respond to that ninja because there's another point too. One keen debate watcher will be host Alexander Boulerice, who will kick off the evening's agenda. Boulerice is the sole surviving MP from the NDP's 59 Quebec Hall in 2011. He is currently the most sought-after endorser and potential leadership race kingmaker. So, those are a couple of things there. The other thing is, Ninja, in order to watch the debate, you need to... Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. You have to RSVP through the NDP website in order to get the link. It's in, 60-40, Dr. Batstrings. 60 French, 40 English. Hey, Dan. Then they'll send you the link. So in order to watch it tonight, I have already submitted this. But this, from what I understand, is the only way to get the link for the debate this evening. I looked on CPAC because I asked some of the... That's not the CPAC I meant to do. Looking on the schedule on CPAC, they don't mention it. I did ask some of... Thanks, Dr. Badstrings. I appreciate it. I did ask I asked one of Avi Lewis's media people, and they said that they weren't sure what CPAC was going to do, but yes, to get the link, you needed to sign up on the website. So, last debate, they're supposed to do it via Zoom, but they ended up broadcasting it on YouTube. Yeah, I don't have the link yet, so we'll see what type of link it is. But yeah, this appears to be the only way to be able to watch the debate. And then they have your email, your postal code, and your phone number. You also have a chance, however, if you do it this way, to submit a question. So, yeah, that's how I signed up as well. Now, one thing that I will say is I have permission. Yeah, so did I, Fea. I have permission from the Ave Lewis. They already have, yeah, they got mine too. I got a membership. I have permission from the Ave Lewis team to post in their Discord and stuff about the debate. And I said to them very specifically that I am not endorsing a single candidate right now. And would that be okay? Could I still talk about watching the debate from my live stream? And they said yes, so long as I encourage people to sign up for the NDP, which I told them I was willing to do. And as long as I did that, then I'm allowed to post around the Ave Lewis campaign Discord about the live stream tonight. I was hoping to hear back from the Rob Ashton team as well. I have not yet heard back. But just looking at the different things, I got like the media package and the communications package from the Ave Lewis team already. It feels like the Rob Ashton team is just a little bit behind. Because I'm on their communications team and I just haven't heard anything back yet, which not a big deal. This is the first debate. There will be other ones, but I believe this is the only debate before the cutoff for memberships in January. The next one, I believe, is in February. So, that being said, this one. Let's look through. Hey, thanks, Dan. Let's look through. Who should we start with? Should we start with Ave Lewis? Let's take a look at what he's got as far as the hat trick. Yeah. Back. Let's do lo-fi. I'm also gonna try and save my voice a little bit so I can talk tonight. So this is not going to be a super long stream. All right, Ave Lewis. NDP leadership deadline. Yes, this is the other thing that they asked me to... Oh, you guys can't see it. There we go. This is the other thing they asked me to point out, is that on January 28th, I believe, is the last date to sign up for the NDP to be able to vote. You need to be a member for a certain amount of time, and January 28th is that cutoff date to be able to vote for the leader. So, some of the... Oops. Let's see, what has he got on here for policy? Yes, I have, hold on, give me 2 seconds. Thank you for reminding me. I have a document with each province's rules on it. Let me grab that quickly. There we go. And again, this is why I'm hoping to start the stream a little earlier tonight. I'm going to go over this quickly tonight as well. Can you guys see that? So in Alberta, your membership expires December 31st. If you join after September 1st, you're good till next year. You have to be 14. So if you know, I'm hoping... So the debate starts at 7. Yes, I do, Dr. Radsings. The debate starts at 7 Eastern. I'm hoping to start at 6:30 Eastern time. Or as close to that as possible. Kiddo's babysitter couldn't take them until 6:30, so we'll see if I can drop them off a little early. So Alberta, British Columbia. Your membership expires 1 year. Honorary life members must be a resident. Yeah, no, fair enough, Dan. Okay, Newfoundland and Labrador. Again, look at how young In BC, you can sign up 12-year-olds. You can sign up 12-year-olds. 12-year-olds can sign up. Let's phrase that the right way. Manitoba, 14 years. Yeah. Did you know that? You can be a member of the NDP at 14 in Alberta, 12 in BC, 14 in Manitoba, 14 in Newfoundland and Labrador, 14 in New Brunswick, and no restriction in the Northwest Territories, but 14 years. And same thing in Nova Scotia. What is the membership expiration? Basically, where did it go here? It just means, like, I signed up for the Alberta. H. And that means that my membership will expire December 31st of next year. And that just means you'll likely get an email from them saying, hey, can you renew your membership? Do you want to renew? So no actual voting, but they can be voting members inside the party. Yeah. Correct, Dan. Yeah. It's a bit of a weird backwards thing. I think the other parties have something similar. I remember growing up and having a conservative party. What do they call it? A youth membership and voting when I was a teenager. So yes, correct. We are already past that date. We're past the September 1st. If you renewed your membership before the date, you will need to renew. So if you joined the party before September 1st, double check your membership to make sure that you will be allowed to vote in March of next year. Again, there's so many stories, Dr. Bastrings. If you are not signed up or a member in whatever good standing or whatever they call it by January 28th, then you will not be able to vote for this year. Check what it is for Ontario. Okay. Ontario NDP members are in good standing who joined after November 1st, 2024 are eligible to vote in the leadership race. Members who joined before November 1st, 2024 must renew their membership. So if you signed up last year, before this date, then you also have to check your membership. Good standing just means a certain number of days that you're a member before you can vote, to stop people from signing up for the NDP, voting, and then canceling their membership the day after. You need to have been a member for a certain number of days. PEI, you have 2 years. Quebec is 1 year. Saskatchewan is the same as Alberta. Yeah, fair enough. Must be a citizen, a Canadian citizen, or a permanent resident. So yeah. As far as being members, don't officially be a jerk, yeah. As far as being official party members of another party, that in general is not allowed. Let's see if I can find it back. Unofficially, you can be a jerk, yeah. If you're not in good standing, you can instantly renew and be fine, but for new members or those who haven't renewed, you have to sign up and have your 30-day cooldown period. Correct. I've got another... What's the one? Okay, no. They sent out a whole schwack of documents. That is the membership guide that they sent. I don't know. No. Hey, friend. Hey, friend. Good morning, Neuropunk. And I think that's all of the information that I can share from here. Morning, Neuropunk. Hey, Ash, how are you? All right, so let's go to some. Let's do Instagram. That's probably the best way to do it. Yeah, Olafin, a lot of the NDP stuff is so backwards. Canadian Goose, that is an excellent question. Yeah, it is Olafin, you are correct. That's not it. Thank you, Dan. Dan would be the person to ask. I don't know all the inner workings of party membership. But yes, I know you can't be a member of the Conservative Party and also a member of the NDP. Let's take a look at some of the things that Ave Lewis has put out. This is his first major policy solution of our campaign, a concrete plan to break the power of corporate monopolies and build public option. His big thing, of course, has been the public option for groceries. That's been one of the things he has said over and over and over again. Bring down grocery costs by 30 to 40% using a high volume warehouse style model. A network of public telecom providers, universal affordable high-speed phone and internet, including rural, remote, and indigenous communities. Hey, Wanderin Forest. Building a million public homes. Postal banking for all Canadians. And a public pharmaceutical manufacturer. Those are some of his big policy things. Let's... 2 seconds. I know there's no audio. I'll fix it. Just give me 2 seconds. Hey, Lucky.
Les gens. David, qui plus tard a été...
All right.
Cet appart, c'est là que mon grand-père David a grandi. Un quartier populaire
Last neighborhood in the heart of Montreal,
où les maisons
where the
étaient
houses stood
tissées
shoulder to
serrées,
shoulder.
tout comme les gens.
So did people.
David, qui plus tard a
David,
été
who led
à la
the
tête du
NDP,
NPD, s'est une fois
ran for
présenté
office
comme
in
candidat
Friday.
ici. Et à quelques coins de
Few
route
blocks
là,
over on
sur
St.
Saint-Laurent, ses parents ont aidé à bâtir ceci.
His parents helped
La
build
Sala
this.
Rosa,
Sala
dont
Rosa.
l'arrière-grand-père passait toutes ses soirées là-haut à organiser les travailleurs contre la montée du fascisme dans les années 30. La vie était dure et inquiétante à l'époque, comme elle est encore
I do
aujourd'hui.
appreciate that he's
Peu
putting
importe
stuff out in
où on
French.
vit ou quelle langue on parle, on est tous dans
Yeah,
le même
hey,
bateau. L'urgence quotidienne de tout simplement essayer de survivre dans une économie impossible. On connaît tous la cause. Une petite poignée de grandes entreprises qui dominent tous les secteurs. Ce sont les maxis et les métros. Les 3 compagnies de téléphone, les 5 banques et les 5 pétrolières. Elles fixent les prix et engrangent des profits records. Entre-temps, qu'est-ce qu'on retrouve? Des logements inabordables, des médecins introuvables et des écoles sous-financées ou trop chères. Et pendant que les compagnies pétrolières amassent leurs fortunes,
Yeah, 100%.
elles volent du même coup notre avenir. Des trains qui explosent à lac mégantic, des inondations à Pierrefonds, l'érosion des îles de la Madeleine, de la fumée partout.
C'est triste. C'est la première fois qu'on voit ça ici, là.
Pour nous distraire de leur coupour
Yeah, it's
et
not
chaos,
terrible.
les politiciens blâment les immigrants, les musulmans et les gens trans. On a clairement besoin de solutions
That's
et
a
elles
fourth
doivent
telecom
être
company.
aussi grandes que les crises auxquelles on fait face. Des options publiques pour l'épicerie, le logement et les cellulaires. Un plafond national sur les augmentations de loyers et un New Deal vert qui crée des millions d'emplois bien payés pour bâtir l'économie de demain. Ici au Québec, vous avez déjà montré l'exemple. C'est le premier endroit en Amérique du Nord à avoir interdit l'exploitation de nouveaux combustibles fossiles. Et pendant que Carney et Legault essaient de ressusciter leur pipeline
zombie
zombie,
pipelines.
j'ai un message pour eux. Ni ici, ni ailleurs. Rappelons-nous qu'on peut se lever, se tisser serré une fois de plus. Ils sont l'argent, mais nous sommes les gens. Je m'appelle Avi Lewis et je me présente à la direction du NPD fédéral. Joins-toi à moi. Deviens membre aujourd'hui.
I still can't take seeing videos of Lochner. Fundamental childhood summers there as a kid. Your grandparents' old apartment was the first building not destroyed by the explosion. Wow. That's a lot. Hey Kiri. I will say, Faya, I remember at the very beginning of the campaign, his French was rough. This is already a huge improvement. You were also awake when it happened, so you watched it live. What's the for H?
On the edge. Everyone's
Start this over.
Life in Canada today feels on the edge. Everyone seeking just a little stability, everyone told, you're all on your own. It doesn't help that we're under economic attack. Disruption grenades flying over the border without warning. But there's an even bigger crisis, one that Donald Trump only
Yes, he is a
magnifies.
filmmaker. That
It's
is
the
correct.
everyday emergency of just trying to get by in an impossible economy. Whether you're taking care of loved ones, hustling with multiple gig jobs, or punching the clock 9 to 5, working hard doesn't earn you a living. $100 for a cell phone plan? $300 for a cart of groceries? Several thousand a month for rent or a mortgage payment? These days, every politician claims to be shocked by the costs. What they don't talk about is why. The billions in profits, tiny group of corporations that control every part of our economy. 3 phone providers, 3 grocery giants, 5 oil companies, and the 5 big banks that fund them. And when it comes to those oil and gas...
There shouldn't be an echo. I'm not hearing one, and I don't have my audio doubled.
CEOs, they're not just hoarding extreme
Yes,
wealth.
he is Ave.
They're foreclosing on our
Or
shared
Ave.
future.
Olafin. There's Ave Lewis. That is an unfortunate picture. You got me on 2 screens. Well, thank you. He is known for When the Storm Fades, This Changes Everything, The Take, and Norita. Yes, he also used to be on Al Jazeera. Did he also work for CBC? He worked for, he was a reporter for a while too. Looking at the 7 communities around the world with a proposition that we can seize the crisis of climate change to transform our failed economies, economic system into something radically better. A well-intentioned young Canadian couple help a family in the Philippines recover from the 2013 super typhoon. Is his other one. The Take. In the wake of Argentina's economic collapse of 2001, factory workers break into abandoned factories and restart production. He does, yeah. And During Argentina's brutal Videla dictatorship, thousands vanished. When Nora Cortina's son was taken, she led protests at Palazzo de Mayo to help end the regime. I remember Ave back on Much Music, yeah. Yes, that's
Life
why
in
his
Canada today-
videos feel so professional, is because that's what he did.
Cet appart, c'est là que mon grand-père David a grandi.
Okay, that one we've
And
already seen. Thank you. He has an endorsement from. Oh, I'm gonna say her name so terribly wrong, and I apologize. Or Chilino? Do you guys know Faye
Hi there,
Johnson?
Faye.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see that too, Dan. We're gonna do Rob next. Somewhere she asked about. I'll play you with a response.
Thank you for this question.
Oh, here. Question. Will you and how will you stand up for transgender, diverse, and 2S LGBTQIA plus Canadians in an era of resurgent hate, assaults on our rights, and attempts to scapegoat our community to push for a dangerous far-right agenda?
Even more so for all your passion and commitment to this necessary work. This question has been on my mind as, of course, it's Trans Awareness Week. And no question, this is a dangerous and frightening time to be a queer or trans person right now. And instead of protecting trans rights, governments around the world are rolling them back. Canada is shamefully part of this terrifying trend. Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, and now Alberta are all enacting harmful legislation that prevents young people from accessing confidential and safe gender-affirming care. And when they're challenged, they double down even more violently, as Danielle Smith has done this week with her despicable use of the notwithstanding clause in support of harmful legislation. We need to be clear about why this is happening. The rising right is weaponizing prejudice and disinformation, especially about trans kids, to distract and divide all Canadians. Under cover of these blame games, also being used to attack immigrants and homeless people, right-wing governments are dismantling universal public services like education and healthcare. While Danielle Smith tries to stir a debate about whether trans kids deserve proper care, what else is happening? Teachers are being forced back to work. Two-tier privatized healthcare is openly and illegally rammed through, both with the bulldozer of the notwithstanding clause. That's why it's important to remember that while only the most vulnerable among us are being targeted, all of us are implicated. That's why we all need to stand up and fight back. Our fates are intertwined. There are no neutral bystanders here. Last Parliament, the NDP presented the Trans White Paper, which lays out in detail various ways the federal government can support trans people. The NDP will continue to champion this regardless of which one of us is chosen leader. And will continue to fight for trans people of all ages to access gender-affirming care under the Canada Health Act. It's evidence-based, essential care. So thanks again for your question, Faye. I will stand up for trans, gender diverse, and 2S LGBTQIA plus people, standing behind and alongside folks like you who lead this fight with such moral clarity and power. Trans folks are feeling scared and abandoned by governments right now. That's why we, the people, have to step up. Hi there, Faye. Thank you for this question, and even more.
I really appreciate that. And that's part of the reason, like, you know, we can look at all their policies, but I like looking into the stuff that they're posting on social media, and maybe I'm just showing my millennialism. But I appreciate that he's posting things like that. Oh yeah, we're gonna watch that in a minute, but okay, that is what I have for Avi Lewis. Let's take a look at our friend Rob Ashton. Oh, look at that. We got some policy stuff. Excellente. The Good Jobs Promise, I believe we've read on stream. All right. Rob's plan to win Canada's housing war. Triple the number of public, nonprofit, and co-op houses. Yeah, Kat, it's really shitty that your parents haven't said it, but it's nice to hear people in higher up places being willing to speak up like that.
Trans rights are human rights.
Hell yeah, Moose. I still need to make that. There's not a ton. Of policy? Yeah, no, there's not. Avi Lewis's stuff we've gone through already. Triple the construction of public, co-op, and nonprofit homes. Bring more private land into public ownership, especially the land close to public transit. Public funds to build homes ordinary people can afford. Standardize modular prefab and mass timber methods, and modernize zoning to allow duplexes, triplexes, and gentle density. Invest in housing in Indigenous communities and in an Indigenous housing strategy. Put Canadians to work with Canadian materials. Crack down on corporate landlords. Yeah. Ban big corporate landlords from buying affordable apartment buildings and starter homes when they hit the market. This is a huge one. Support nonprofits, co-ops, and community housing to acquire those buildings instead. And federal subsidies, tax breaks, and CMHC backing for any landlord that renovates, price gouges, or abuses tenants. And ban rent fixing algorithms and other AI tools landlords use to coordinate rent hikes. Strong stance. Protect rentals with real rules and not loopholes. Real rent control that stops rent gouging. Same thing as before. Enforce national standards. If you pay your rent on time and follow the rules, you shouldn't be one eviction notice away from losing your home. Yep, they sure are, Kat. Young people working full-time should be able to buy a home. He's going to ban hedge funds and rich investors from acquiring single-family homes. Build dedicated starter homes for buyers, not investors. Land trust and equity co-ops. And offer low-interest first-term mortgages through CMHC. CHMC. Ending homelessness by 2035. Kevin, I know. Everyone deserves a safe place. Rob's plan confronts homelessness with dignity and real solutions, not half measures. Replenish the Rapid Housing Initiative and Reaching Home to build more rent geared to income and supported homes through nonprofit and Indigenous providers. Create a national encampments response plan that upholds the right to housing, invests in permanent alternatives to encampments, and addresses the overrepresentation of Indigenous people in homelessness. Launch a homelessness prevention and housing benefit to help 50,000 people in critical need get into stable homes, and put federal dollars behind community-led permanent solutions. Love all of this a great deal. The good job stuff I believe we went through, so I'll just cover the big points. A job for everyone who wants one. Yeah. Fair wages and strong standards. Building the future, including housing, transit, clean energy, and community infrastructure. No more corporate free rides. Every public dollar will come with strings attached, and a central bank that works for people. Worker power plan. Verbs. You guys, my words are so brutal. Rob's worker power plan will rewrite the rules, giving workers a real voice in boardrooms, stronger tools to organize, and a fair share of the wealth they create. I did say verbs. I sure did, Olafin. Okay. For too long, our economy has been run by the rich and powerful. Canada's strength comes from the real economy of the people. It's the same old ruling class that keeps calling the shots, getting rich off our backs while we struggle to get by. The idea is simple. When workers have power, everyone wins. Newer team sound. just warbs over and over when I can't pronounce anything. The plan comes as numbers tell a story, profits up, pay stuck. Countries with strong unions and worker representation enjoy higher productivity, lower inequality, and more stable economics. So, a couple of things that this plan includes. Worker representation on corporate boards. Yeah, Guernsey, we're going to do that in the middle of this, and then we'll do Tennille's stuff after, so we have something positive, because it's bad. Requiring worker seats on corporate boards. I love this. Because how many people on those corporate boards have no idea what's happening in their own companies? Making it easier to join a union by bringing back one-step union certification and crack down on union busting. Protect the right to strike and deliver bigger paychecks with fair pay for government contract and sectoral bargaining. Yeah, worker reps on corporate boards is awesome. Repeal and replace a temporary foreign workers program with a fair program built from the ground up to protect all workers, their status, and their labors. Under the Liberals and Conservatives, the TFWP is being abused to line their pockets. We need to replace it with a program that protects your wages by holding employers accountable, stops the race to the bottom, gives workers real power. Migrant workers will have a clean path to permanency, open work permits, they can join unions and organize without fear. Ends the divide and conquer game. Bosses can't pit workers against each other when everyone has the same rights, protections, and status. And keeps jobs fair. Employers must prove that they can't find qualified Canadian workers, with unions checking to make sure that it's legit. So they can show that they tried to hire Canadians, and then when they went to hire the temporary foreign workers, that they're offering them the same things. Which is phenomenal. I am not publicly endorsing a specific candidate. But I really like Rob Ashton. I think you guys know that. Alright, let's take a look at... No, that's totally fair, Olivin. The question I have about them is, how would the board listening to those reps be enforced? I'm sure they would figure out a way to do that. I'm sure that would be a bumpy road to start, but... Alright, this is his housing war, which we watched, or read, not watched.
Not for stock markets. Canada's homes are for people, not for stock markets. Canada's housing crisis didn't happen by accident. It happened because the ruling class turned homes into assets.
Oh, I know.
Decades of Liberal and Conservative governments stopped building, only to let the rich get richer, while regular people get pushed out. Canada once mobilized entire industries during wartime to build ships, vehicles, housing, and equipment at unprecedented rates. So why aren't we doing it now, in the middle of a trade war? My plan, Operation Build Communities, not corporate empires, launches that same scale of national mobilization to build homes for people, not rich investors. A national wartime-style effort to build the homes workers and families actually need, putting Canadians to work building them with Canadian materials. We're taking on corporate landlords, protecting renters, and giving people a fair shot, and ending homelessness with real solutions. My plan is a national mission to build affordable homes while putting Canadians to work, protecting families from corporate greed, and to restore housing as a human right. This is Canada's housing war, and we're gonna win it.
Love it.
Homes are for people.
Love it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rob Ashton. I'm a dock worker from BC, and I'm running for leadership of the NDP federally. On November 30th at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, we're going to be hosting a meeting. A meeting for all of you that want to come be part of our movement that's called the NDP. Be a part of the change, the bold, unapologetically loud change that we are. I'll see you then. Thank you very much, and stay well, eh?
Stay well, eh? I love
My name's Anthony Marco. I'm a high school teacher and a labor activist here in Hamilton, Ontario, and I am going to be supporting Rob Ashton for NDP leader because he brings what is most important to my lens in our society, which is a working class lens and trying to fight for jobs, for working conditions.
I need that on a jacket. Homes are a human right with a big NDP logo. 100%. 100%.
For better wages, fighting against multinational corporations, fighting against the governments that back them up. He is that voice, I think, that is going to help the NDP cross that line of becoming a true labor.
Oh, they need someone to be working on their social media stuff. The sound balance on this is rough.
Representative party again, and I look forward to that. I think it's going to be a fantastic campaign for him, and I think he's going to get a lot of support as he tours across the country. And I encourage you, as you see him touring across the country, go out, talk to Rob, see him, ask those questions, and make sure that he answers those questions. And he will be accountable to you because he's been accountable to his members for years, the longshoremen out in British Columbia. So please make sure to do that. And I think...
So hang on to that thought, Olafin, and ask me after we do Rob Ashton, because I have something to show y'all.
You'll be very happy when you do.
Okay.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Lauren Liu. Il y a 10 ans, Hi, my name is Lauren Liu. Over 10 years ago, I became the NDP MP for the Quebec riding of Première des Mille-Îles. I was part of Jack Layton's Orange Wave and became the youngest female MP to ever sit in the House of Commons, in a riding that's never gone New Democrat before or since. To finish the work that Jack started, we need to win back seats in Quebec. We need to win back workers outside of Montreal, like the constituents I got to know over years of being their MP. Rob Ashton's the guy for the job. That's why I'm supporting Rob Ashton for leader of the NDP. He's working on his French, and he's ready to knock on doors in Première des Mille-Îles. People all over the province are looking for policies that work for them. Rob's a working class guy who knows what it takes to make life more affordable. It's time to fight for the 99%. That's why I'm voting for Rob.
Ba-bum. He's only a few months older than Pierre Lacducel. Whoops. Oh, I love this. I'm turning the music off because I don't want a copyright strike. Yeah, super awesome. So one of the people, oh, I forget which team it was for, but somebody made up a bingo card already for this evening. Let me grab it. That's very funny. Yeah, the music. And this is some of the things that they put on it. I think if I have time today, I'll make bingo cards for us. That's probably a good call. Paris Agreement of COP30, mentioning how the NDP is a family. Eve Zangler mention. Work boots, meeting people where they're at, answering in English when the question is asked in French. Nice, Dan. Leap Manifesto mentioned, paycheck to paycheck, Green New Deal, someone mentions class. I really doubt it as well, Dan. Donald Trump mentioned seat/voice at the table, groceries, telecoms. Arresting Netanyahu. I will be very surprised if that comes up in a Quebec debate. But Jack Layton, Tommy Douglas, talking over the Moderary, Mondami, of course. The table, yep. Emergency, Stephen Harper, Justin Trudeau. Canada has X number of companies in a trench coat. And pipelines, of course. Yeah. I believe... Oh, here. Let's watch this. This is cute. Bingo. It is. That's what it's... Where it's coming from. Yep. Let me start this.
Nice to meet you. I would like to know, if you had a magic pen that could sign any policy into law, what would it be?
Housing. The nuts and bolts of it is the Canadian government builds houses in co-op style fashion or some type of public housing fashion where it's on public land, built by the Canadian government, run by the Canadian government. And in that way, land developers don't have their hands in it. And the hopes of it is that if somebody eventually wants to move out and buys into like the free market, then they'll have that ability to at one point in their lives. But if they don't have to. And we can do it, you know. We can do it because of the wealth tax that we're going to put on people.
Yes.
Because that's going to bring in a ton of money for us.
Tell me a little bit more about the wealth tax.
First off, nobody should be worth $1 trillion. Nobody should be worth $1 billion. But if you're making, I don't know, $1.5 million a year, anything over that number, whatever that number is set at, should be taxed at a higher rate. It takes the burden off people that are earning far, far, far less. Right? Because those are the people that can afford it. They're the ones that should be paying their fair share.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say real quick?
Yeah, sign up, get in the fight, because we're building a movement, not a party.
Rob Ashton.
Aye.
Nice to meet you.
The cheesiest of clip art videos. I love it. All right, so that's what I've got for Rob Ashton. We've got Homestar Runner. That is a throwback. Let's do Heather McPherson, and then we'll take a quick break. That's yeah. No papyrus, that's valid. All right, Heather McPherson. We have... Who are your Oh, she's got quite a few. Raymond Cote. And Jose. I, again, apologize. I am not going to be able to pronounce a lot of these names. That's not on purpose. Fudge Run Cookies and a liter of cola. Trogdor. Burninating. Dr. Tariq Najim, James Ball, Chandra Pasma, Jody Learn, Lisa Marie Baron, Rachel Notley, of course, who she talks about all the time, Lou Arab, Richard Cannings, Ahik Shah, Kristen Wong Tam, Layla Dance, and Andrew McKenzie. This is McPherson, yeah. This is. Let's go. Let's not go there. Hold on, give me one sec here.
Housing crisis. Families are being priced out of their neighborhoods. Young people cannot imagine owning a home, and seniors are being pushed into impossible situations. This crisis is not abstract. It is urgent, it is national, and it is getting worse every single day. When I was in Sudbury this week, I heard direct...
Can I just say how absolutely irritating it is to hear that much rabble in the background? Like, ugh.
From local housing experts who told me that there is no shelter spaces, no affordable housing. Children and elderly are increasingly amongst those living on the streets, and the number of unhoused has skyrocketed in the last 2 years with, quote, people are dying faster than we are housing them. This is why I'm calling on the Government of Canada to finally declare a national housing emergency and act on it. That would actually unlock real tools, real coordination, and real funding to deal with the challenge happening in our communities. The future of our communities and of our country depend upon it.
Excellent. Yeah, she doesn't have a ton.
Mr. Speaker, Danielle Smith is making an unprecedented attack on healthcare in this country.
Ad break. Okay. I've got to run now. Last Thursday appointment. Yeah, take care, Faya. And again, if you guys want to watch the debate en français, then check out Faya Kim's channel for the debate this evening. Ad break. Okay, then I am going to quickly take my own break for a minute. I'm going to go take a drink of water so that I can save my voice, and I will be back in 5. All good. I was going to take a break now anyway. There we go. Alrighty, let's finish up. Up here we've got Danielle next. Which Lauren, yes. The big news out of Danielle's campaign today comes from Tony McQuail, actually, but Danielle is in. I don't know if you guys saw a couple days ago, maybe more than a couple days ago, but Tony McQuail told people to stop donating to his campaign in order to ensure that Danielle would get in. So I'll play that clip for you for those of you that haven't seen it. Pretty awesome.
Stop fundraising.
One more time.
Donate to the Danielle Johnston campaign. We are going to stop fundraising. We have a wonderful crew of people who've come to this. This is not denying or trying to reduce what we've done and what we've accomplished so far, but I don't want both of us to try and raise money and in effect squeeze both of us out of the race. So in the interest of cooperation and collaboration and dealing with awkward electoral systems, we're going to walk our talk and we're going to say we're not fundraising until Danielle has the $25,000 she needs to be in the race and pay it by November 30th. And we trust that her campaign will let us know when they do, and then we can start fundraising again. But if one of us has to go, it's me. Donate to the Danielle Johnston campaign. We are going to stop fundraising. We have a wonderful crew of people who've come to this.
Ugh. Yes, they do, Darren Harris, and that, I believe, is that final push that they needed by the end of the month. So Tony McQuail, he wants to get policies, ideas, and other viewpoints. Yeah, absolutely. I've said that too. Regardless of where Tony ends up in this debate, in this race, in this whatever, the ideas that he has been able to put out there are so important. And it's so important that he got a voice in this regardless of what happens. So, as of 38 minutes ago, Tony is now accepting donations because Danielle Johnston raised enough money. The Tony McQuail campaign, hi Anu, needs $33,000 in just a few days. I do hope that everyone tries to include Tony in some way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So she made it in. Tony is accepting donations. Thank you for your generous contributions. Is that? Who's that? That must be the debate person? Oh, no, that was the interview. That was the last forum they did. Okay, so that being said, are you guys ready for some ridiculously adorable Tony McQuail content? Are you ready for it? It's all good, Anu. Today was a surprise stream. Please. Okay, here we go. I love him so much. Today is the debate, Anu, just not till tonight.
Hi. Today I'm...
Look at him in his little lumberjack outfit. I love him so much. I love him so much.
Setting up dead ash that got killed by the emerald ash borer. One of those dis-economies of extensive trade. But it got me thinking, here I am cutting firewood that we'll use ourselves on our farm, both for our house and my daughter's. And it got me thinking about the opportunity we might have with the tariff situation. What if instead of worrying and panicking about our trade, what if we said, what's the Canadian economy for? And who's it supposed to serve? And could we organize it so we produce stuff for ourselves and for the people in our neighborhood and in our community and our province, and not be nearly as dependent on trade?
I know.
And when it looks to trade,
I love him.
Why don't we look to what I would call, rather than competitive advantage, cooperative advantage?
His phone is ringing in the background. I love him.
Because competitive advantage makes the folks in the middle rich if they buy cheap and sell dear, but it doesn't necessarily really benefit people in countries where their labor regulations are low, standards are low, environmental impact regulations are low. They can have a terrible time there as a result of their competitive advantage. And at the same time, people in our country are losing their jobs because of that competition, and we're not getting a super bargain because of the trader in the middle. So the idea of cooperative advantage would look to state trading, where you cut out the middleman and you make sure that you're actually getting cooperative advantage, because it makes more sense to produce oranges in Mexico than it does in BC or Ontario, but it makes a lot more sense to produce apples in BC or in Ontario, and so have a cooperative trade advantage. So if we use the tariff situation,
he has a chainsaw instead of a mace,
and worry about job loss, we could use it as a way of looking at how do we reorganize, redesign the Canadian economy to meet our basic needs, our real needs.
We just become best friends. Yep.
Hi, Vapor. Thank you for the sub. You now have the yellow teacup. Replace the crown with an official grandparent. Oh my goodness. You guys remember, he is trying, one of his big things is that he wants to combine the Green Party and the NDP. So maybe he'll run for the Greens when Elizabeth May steps down. Who knows?
That works both for people across the country and works for our environment across the country.
I love it so much. Until next time. I love him so very much. Hi, Vapor. Dollars in Dubai means suffering in Sudan. Yep. As Prime Minister Carney wraps up talks in the UAE, we must recognize the ongoing Emirati support of genocide in Sudan. It is a strongly documented fact that the UAE has directly enabled the genocidal actions of the RSF. Yeah, Dan, I would agree. Also, every time I see a picture of him without his mustache, I'm like, who is that? He looks like a totally different person.
First, I want to tell you...
My goodness, are you guys ready for another one? I love him.
About this socket set. It's 51 years old. I bought it in 1974, in the spring of 74. On the day I became a member of the Lucknow Co-op as a 21-year-old young farmer. I paid $1 and I became a member and a partial owner of the Lucknow Co-op. And that's the thing about co-ops, is they're member-owned or they're worker-member-owned, and they give us, the 99%, a chance to actually own something. So the co-op back there has feed that we use, has hardware, has clothing, and it's something that every time we buy something, we get a little potential patronage share as a result of that. It's also where we get our gasoline, some of the time at least, and our diesel fuel. So it's something that we need. It supports our local community with the resources and the tools and the equipment and the farm supplies that we need. But it also means that when we buy here, we get a return.
All of your grandpa's friends look like Tony. Co-ops survive economic turmoil better than other business models. Correct.
It's not the profits going off to some distant bank or a capitalist somewhere. It's staying in our community, and it's coming back to the people who make use of the co-op. So that's one way that those of us in the 99% don't have to wait for government to solve the problem of inequity. We can start using cooperatives. There are food cooperatives, housing cooperatives. As I say, there are things like tool sharing cooperatives or worker spaces that are springing up where people help each other repair things. So there's so many ways we can start taking agency back and start taking control of the things that are really critical to our lives. But this little toolbox reminds me that, you know, I've been a member of this co-op for 41 years, earning patronage shares when I buy gas, when I buy tools, when I buy feed or anything else for the farm. So think about how you can get more involved in the things in your community that stay in your community and don't get sucked out of it by those who are just sucking the wealth out of our society.
Also, there's our friend Revolution Party of Canada. Comments here. If a federal natural cooperative sold at a cost for a non-for-profit, it would promote competition in the markets. Actually keep it a privatized company. Have options. Yep. Okay, sounds good, Vapor. I don't know if you heard this, but I'm planning on switching over to the wintry stuff in December, so you've got time. Your cat is screaming, you don't know why. I love this so much. Look at, he's driving in his big truck. My friend Matt Van Enkem and I left Lucknow this morning to start our On to Montreal trek. He's a former provincial Green Party candidate and a fellow farmer. They worked together on the Huron executive for the National Farmers Union. By carpooling, we double our kilometers per liter and get a travel companion. Ride sharing is one of the simplest forms of redesign and one that you can implement in your community right now. We're excited to bring you along for the ride as we travel through some of Eastern Ontario's rural communities. You'll end your journey in Montreal as the national debate. There, I will passionately advocate for my 4 Rs and make sure that even if this campaign comes to an end, the ideas we champion will carry on. Love him. Because cat, yep. Oh. Interesting. This was live. Oh, he just answered questions live in the Reddit thread. Look at him go. If you guys want to read this thread, I will post this here. It won't let me post a link. Were you, Dan? That's awesome. What's your highest priority in a minority government? To establish a citizens' assembly. Love that. Would you be able to press other candidates in the leadership debate to state that they agree with you and ask them to commit to it? Well, friend, I love it. My 2 years of high school French from 55 years ago in this debate is going to be limited. If the opportunity arises and I can figure out how to say it in French, or the opportunity arises in English, that's a question on my mind too. Why would you view a citizens' assembly as more legitimate than our elected representatives? There's a self-selection process. Citizens' assembly is selected through a process similar to a jury selection. Not a question, I just want to say I love your ideas. Thank you, friend, and don't worry, I've been a New Democrat for 45 years and I plan on continuing that, whether I win or lose. A publicly owned grocer. Here are my thoughts as a farmer. A public grocery chain may be an answer, but our current food system is complicated and complex. There's the production side, the processing side, and distribution from the processor to the wholesaler, and then from there to the big chains and the independent groceries. Seen that an all-party committee in BC recommended one to take proportional representation. Interesting. I did not know that. If the root cause of the problem is that there's too many steps between the growing of food and the eating of food, simply putting in another player, even if it's a public one, isn't going to solve the problem. I can't believe an actual NDP candidate would use the internet for an AMA. Personally, the voting age. I'd like it lowered to 14. If senile people in nursing homes get a vote when the decisions being made won't affect their lives much longer. I certainly think that 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds who are going to live the rest of their lives should have a vote. Young people are pretty well informed, and if you give them an opportunity to be responsible, they will be. I also think that them having a vote while they're in the education system can help them explore what their vote means, the parties are standing for, and examining not just what they say, but how they've acted in the past and how they have or have not sought to deliver on the platform. And maybe younger people will vote the way their parents do, but so what? What else is new? Some of their parents are voting the way their grandparents voted. I think if you're going to build a democracy where people take responsibility, you have to give them the opportunity to do it. And you have to make sure their vote counts in every election, which is why I'm so strong on proportional representation. Based. Yeah. The kids say base? I literally have no idea. You're asking the wrong person. I'm asking on behalf of the Canadian Alliance for Solidarity with Ukraine. We sent you an email. We hope to hear. The policy on Ukraine. I've lived my whole life under the threat of mutually assured destruction and a huge waste of human resources and the damage to the environment of the nuclear arms race. I find it painfully and bitterly ironic that mutually assured destruction did not keep Russia from invading Ukraine. Perhaps because they have a puppet president in the United States. Goodness gracious. I am appalled by the international community's failure to respond effectively to Israel's genocide on Palestine and a failure to develop effective sanctions against Russia. Increasing humanitarian aid. I have some hesitancy as a long-standing pacifist about increasing military aid. My sense is that with modern industrialized warfare, and certainly, there aren't easy or good answers. What else? Oh, wow. Anyway, there's lots. If you go to the r/NDP Reddit, it looks like he's answered a few more questions if you want to sort of read through those. But volunteers, these are older ones. Jew. There he is with a beard. Right there. Love it. Yeah, that is our update on Tony McQuail. Anyone old enough to drive should be allowed to vote. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's start with some negative news out of Alberta, and then we'll try to find some positive. This meeting is not great. Yeah, we're just gonna watch it. Wall stream. Well, yeah, unfortunately. Do they even have doors in Alberta? Oh, this whole... I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'll turn it up a little bit. But this whole interaction at the beginning is so awkward. I want to die. Shaky stream. Yeah. So, like, listen to the way she says that.
Hi, Prime Minister. How are you?
Like she's talking to a 5-year-old. Hi, Prime Minister.
It's so nice to see you. I'm so glad you're here. How was was your flight?
Flight was very good.
Good.
Had a good sleep.
Oh, yeah. You've been so busy. I've been watching your schedule. I thought I had a busy one, but my goodness, you do. It's nice.
Yeah, it is an odd choice. I was gonna say something that's gone completely out of my head, so I'll just keep playing it.
Nice to have you here.
Nice to have you here, she says, not being able to make eye contact when she says it.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Shall I say a few words?
So awkward. So awkward.
Busy. I've been watching your schedule. I thought I had a busy one, but my goodness, you do. It's nice to have you here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Shall I say a few words?
You want me to start? How do I
start?
You're
hosting. So.
Well,
I'll start. I'll do it first. Voting age needs to be increased. I could not disagree more with that. Simply being able to vote because you turn 18 is ridiculous. So you want 18-year-olds to be able to pass a test before being allowed to vote? I personally am against anything that puts up any sort of barrier to being able to vote. I think that is about as anti-democratic as you can get. As far as, you know, when we put up more barriers, I think there should be fewer barriers and more access to voting for more people. Always. Then it is a fair representation of the people. Yep, exactly, Ninja. So what about the people that will never understand simple economics? Do they just not get to vote? Sorry, you can't answer this economics question. You don't have a right to vote. Why? What difference, and I'm going to ask this in a different way, what difference does it make to you personally whether or not they get to vote? I'm not asking about numbers or voting. I'm asking why it matters to you personally. Because I think any sort of, use the words that the NDP hates so much, if they are uninformed, they're making bad decisions. The ripple effect of the uneducated are apparent in the issues we have today. Who is at fault? That's not a bad way to put it. Yes. I agree with you that there should be more education in how to vote, what your vote does, what the parties are, all of those things. If you were to go to and this is something I can speak to because I worked in a high school for a very long time. If you were to go to a 16-year-old and say, tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow, in a week, you are going to be voting for a leader of the country. That 16-year-old is going to take that way more seriously, genuinely, than many, many, many more adults. And exactly, PCH. It will incentivize younger people to learn more about how the government works. If you want to increase the knowledge and you want to increase the amount of people that understand what's going on, then give them the responsibility to learn. The only exception is when there is proven voter fraud or other anti-democratic activities. Yep. So why do we have a citizen test requirement for new immigrants? Do we? Prove they understand the systems before they can vote. Okay, but why is the way that somebody who is, if somebody is illiterate, let's say, and they want to vote for the Green Party because they work on a green farm, and they want to vote for somebody that they believe is going to help their community, their farm community, whatever, the most. Why is that person's vote less important than a businessman who went to 4 years of university? I'm not talking about learning disabilities. I am talking about people who physically cannot read. Why is their vote less valuable than anybody else? Also, we do not test all of our drivers before we give them a driver's license, just so you know. Canadian Goose, I think that I'll use Alberta as an example because that's where I am, and I know the curriculum the best here. I think that there should be a much better focus on how the government works, how policies work, how many people who graduate high school. Here's another thing, Dr. Bastrings, how many people who graduate high school? Yeah, exactly. How many people who graduate high school retain all of that information to be able to write a test? I know people who went to school for political science and still don't retain all that information. Yeah, if 16-year-olds were allowed to vote, there would be electoral debates in all the high schools, and there are in lots of them. In the schools that I grew up in, whenever there was an election, the kids, they would run school elections. And if you look, a lot of public schools do this, and they have a group of students representing each party, and the kids have to learn about the party, they have to learn about the policies, they have to learn about what things are going to impact them, and then they debate. So I have seen firsthand the capability of a 16-year-old to understand and to vote in these pseudo elections while being completely informed, more informed than most adults. Yeah, so Kat, the cool thing is that the groups that I did it with, they would rotate it. So they'd be like, okay, for this week you're going to be from the NDP candidates, and then next week you're going to be the Conservatives, and you have to argue against all these different points. Yeah. This argument stinks of controlling what opinions are allowed as well. Yep. On YouTube, we have, I think accessible civics education for the population at large would be beneficial. Absolutely. I remember learning it once in grade 6. It's not just young people that don't understand how government works. 1000%. 1000%. I don't understand economics. Yeah, should I not be allowed to vote? Yeah. I agree. Should we have to complete a physics test before we are allowed to purchase guns? Hot take alert means testing voting ban. Yep, absolutely, Kat. Yep. And there's lots of schools and lots of social studies teachers that do this in the schools. Exactly, Ninja. Do you want to know the group of people that would actually be the most affected as far as having to take a test is going to be the older citizens, not the young people. If you had to take a test in order to vote, the young people would pass with flying colors. The 16-year-olds and the 75 and up would fail. A lot of them would. Because a lot of them have also not kept up with modern politics, modern economics, any of the changes. Yeah. People are stupid if they're not reading the right books. A farmer still knows what's best for his land and can form political opinions around them without making it, an economic education. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know many, I'm in farmer country here. I know many, many, many farmers who didn't even finish grade 6 and are running multi-million-dollar farms. They didn't need an economics degree to be able to do that, and they control X amount of, let's say, I don't know what they farm, I'm just going to say sugar beets. Let's say they own 20% of the sugar beets in Alberta. They didn't graduate grade 6, so their reading level is no. And they hired a team of folks? Nope, they did not. They have an accountant that helps them with the books. But they built the farm with their own hands. If you don't finish high school, they should not be allowed to vote. So what is it to say that people who are in high school are learning these things? Because I know... yeah. Dr. Badstrings, you are more than welcome to your opinion. I just want you to know that you are not going to find people that are going to agree with that opinion here. Thanks, Olafin. Yeah, that is not going to be a popular opinion. Not all opinions are correct or valid. Nope, but I'm not going to tell you what to think. I am going to disagree with you. Entirely, fundamentally. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to name call, and we're going to and I will just say that I don't respect the opinion, but I can agree to disagree. Yeah. Thank you, Olafin. It's vigorously discussed. Yep, and this is something that this group of people will probably get pretty fired up about. And we're going to move on because I will get stuck on this all day and I need to have some voice to be able to stream the debate tonight. So thank you for the conversation, and we're going to move on. Yes? I think you know where I stand. I think it's very clear what a lot of the people in the what a lot of people in this room stand for, and we're just gonna move on. All right, let's finish watching this super awkward press conference. This reminds me when Chat ganged up on the guy that said he didn't vote. Yeah. Yeah. And I have maybe, pipelines, a less controversial topic. It's very personal for me as well. I was an EA for 10 years. The education and the understanding of things is completely personal for me. I totally understand. And we can state here that we fundamentally disagree, and we think it's a wrong take, and we think it's a bad take. But now we're going to keep moving on because we have other things to talk about. And yes, like Olafin said, if you want to continue the conversation, the Discord's open. Go for it. But I would like to move forward. So I'm going to stop answering. And we do need to improve civics in school. That I will agree with. Absolutely, we do. And we need to put better people in charge of curriculum. That's a whole separate thing. Here we go. Let's go.
Thank you to the Prime Minister for being here today, and this is a really great day for Alberta.
Is he winking at people? It's so awkward.
Minister for being here today, and this is a really great day for Albertans. We have been working for some time on addressing the 9 bad laws, as I like to call them, that have been impacting our investment climate here. And I'm pleased that we've reached an agreement to substantially work on removing and revising those laws. I think what it's going to do, especially with the removal of the emissions cap on Alberta, as well as the removal of the net zero power regs, I think it's going to unleash an incredible amount of investment and allow us to work together on important nation building projects. So it's the first step, I think.
This is a completely personal opinion take, but how high do you think, like, is Carney not that tall? Or did Danielle specifically wear really high heels to be able to be taller?
Think of what will be a few more steps we have to take together, but I'm very pleased that the Prime Minister has heard our concerns.
Yeah, kind of, Kat.
Thank you very much, Premier. And look, it's a great day for Alberta. It's a great day for Canada. And at the heart of what is a multifaceted agreement, we have more work to do.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I think he was super tall.
Going forward, but multifaceted agreement. In effect,
I mean, let's be honest. As a woman, if I were to meet with someone who was in a position of power higher than me, and I could wear heels without breaking my ankles, I'd probably wear heels to be taller than them. I just would. So, okay.
Creates an energy transition, all aspects of energy, but really sets the stage for an industrial transformation. At the core of the agreement, of course, is a priority to have a pipeline to Asia. That's going to make...
Can we look at Emily Lowen's Blue Sky response to this? Sure. Remind me if I forget, Guernsey.
Canada stronger, more independent, more resilient, more sustainable, because the way we're going to do that is in combination with the Pathways project, which will be the largest carbon capture project in the world. It'll mean that Alberta barrels of bitumen are amongst the lowest energy intensive in the world, therefore competitive not just for tomorrow, but for decades, as well as creating a whole new industry for Alberta and for Canada. In addition, agreements, or at least intentions around nuclear power, interties with other provinces, sovereign data centers, huge opportunity, huge necessity.
Sovereign data centers is not my favorite way of trying to hide AI centers. I don't love.
For Alberta and for Canada. And it's all done in a spirit of cooperation, partnership, and trust. So as the Premier just referenced, some adjustments to regulations, adjustments here in terms of strengthening the tier system, methane regs, enhancing methane regs, a cooperation agreement on regulation, which will help us move forward more efficiently and effectively. And also, just on the point of cooperation, at the heart of this is cooperation, partnership with Indigenous people.
Oh, she does not like that. For someone like her, who has made her entire career around blaming Ottawa for literally everything, this has got to be her worst nightmare. Agreeing to cooperation with Ottawa.
Cooperation at the heart of this is cooperation, partnership with Indigenous peoples in Alberta, in British Columbia, as they're affected. Unprecedented opportunities for Indigenous ownership, partnership, economic benefits, as well as substantial economic benefits for the people of British Columbia. So this is Canada working. This is cooperative federalism. This is Canada building with Alberta, building with Canada, building for today, but building very much for the future. And I'm very grateful for your hard work.
Freeze frame is showing her soul leave her body. Yeah.
Hard work of your team to get us to this point. We've got more work to do, but we're going to work hard to do it. Excellent. Et puis en français. Oh mon Dieu.
Oh mon Dieu.
certainement ça. Alors, c'est un grand plaisir de revenir en Alberta. J'ai grandi ici en Alberta. Et c'est une bonne journée.
Ooh, suddenly his French isn't so good when it's not written out in front of him.
Pour le Canada, pour l'Alberta, mais pour le Canada, parce que c'est l'Alberta et le gouvernement fédéral, coopération avec le Canada, parce que le Canada sous-fonctionne.
Hey, I swear she squints like she needs glasses. Yeah, I find her facial expressions to be really hard to read sometimes.
Fédéralisme coopératif, et je voudrais finalement remercier vous, Madame la Première ministre, pour votre travail et le travail de votre équipe.
Thank you.
Oh, that was so awkward. I hate it. Look at her heels. She's got the big heels on.
Sorry, watch. Excuse me.
There's your half-door stream. Is Brian G? I want light-up shoes, man. Yeah, what is happening here? This is the most awkward transition. It's the official announcement? Are they gonna tell us what they're signing? Just like, not at all. Be great to have wheelie shoes? Yeah. Pen zoom. More flags. Oh, it's a different wreath, so now we're in a completely different room. Did they really need that many flags? Probably not. Both Mark Carney and Danielle Smith are 5'9". There you go. She's wearing some killer heels. Love it. Suit zoom. I'm surprised Smith allowed the Canadian flag. Yeah. Alright, we got movement. And so here. Yeah. It's a lot of blue suits.
Hey Rebecca, are you good?
Is Rebecca good? Do we confirm? Great mustache. Heads up.
Daniel.
There we go. Is there a Canadian flag on the outside on both sides? Looks like it. Yeah, he is, Dan, you're right.
Alright, so Doug is signing and look up.
Okay, you want to sign it? Look up. They won't be able to tell if it's just a photo, but it's okay.
that's the most awkward. It's just so awkward, this whole thing.
Lost our...
Thanks. Is that how he does it?
It just says, I think you got a thumbs up.
He reads his signatures too.
Danielle Smith might be more comfortable if Trump was there. Probably, Guernsey.
Okay, that's it. My work's done for today.
That's it, my work's done.
I don't know if you've met my other ministers here as well. They serve you too.
Ryan Sheen was reaching out a hand and totally got walked right by. Right here. Nope. Rejected. Poor guy. And that was it. So what did they just do? That was like the least informative press briefing thing ever. Oh yeah, he really is. Not my favorite human for sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's 100% just pure theater. This is the actual information.
Thank you. Well, hello, my friends. Good morning, everyone. I hope you enjoyed hearing the comments of the Prime Minister this morning. I was pleased he was able to pop up and see you before going on to some of his other meetings today, as well as a speech at the Chamber. I'm so delighted to be here with not only members of my cabinet, but also our partners in Indigenous communities. We've got Rebecca Schultz, Minister of Environment and Protected Areas, Rajan Sani, Minister of Indigenous Relations, Jason Nixon, Minister of Assisted Living and Social Services. He was part of our negotiating team. Nathan Neudorf, Minister of Affordability and Utilities. Minister Brian Jean, Minister of Energy and Minerals. And then, of course, we have Billy Morin, former chief, but he's now MP for Edmonton Northwest. Former Chief Jim Boucher of the Mackay First Nation. Chris Sankey, former councillor of Laxquolam Band in British Columbia. Dave Lamouche, President of Métis Settlements General Council. Chief George Arcan Jr. of Alexander First Nation. Enoch Child for others today, where I'm going to go for a lunch speech. But today is a great day for the people of Alberta and for all of Canada. The last 10 years have been an extremely difficult time for hundreds of thousands of Albertans and their families that directly or indirectly rely on and make their living from a strong and vibrant and growing Alberta oil and gas sector.
Yeah, it's all theater.
These Albertans are mothers and fathers and young people working so hard to put food on the table, to pay for hockey and soccer fees, and to save for the down payment on their first home. These are also small business owners that too often have found themselves as well in their business working very hard to build due to a regulatory environment that has made it almost impossible for them to succeed. And more broadly, the last 10 years have left hundreds of thousands of Albertans skeptical and oftentimes questioning the long-term viability of our nation as we watched its deliberate phase-out of our province's most valuable asset, leaving it trapped and wasted in the vast oil sands of northern Alberta, and with it, innumerable lost investment opportunities and tens of thousands of lost jobs. These were dark times, but in those difficult circumstances, Albertans came together, as we always do, to raise our voices and use our ingenuity to find a way to overcome the challenge. We fought and won in the courts of law. We fought and won in the court of public opinion. And we fought because we had to, because that's what Albertans do. We always fight very hard for this province that we love so dearly and for its incredible people. But Albertans are also proud and loyal Canadians. We don't fight for the sake of fighting. We don't look for conflict when there's an opportunity for peace and prosperity. Albertans are happiest when we are hard at work getting things done, solving problems, creating opportunities, building our province and our country. That is when we are truly at our best. However, in order for Alberta to find its way to prosperity within a united Canada, we need the federal government to partner with us instead of fighting against us. Now, Prime Minister Mark Carney and I may not always agree on everything, but we do share a few key beliefs. We both know that Canada can never reach its true potential as a global energy superpower without a strong and thriving Alberta energy sector at the center of that effort.
I don't think so,
And I'm
Rascal
pleased to
Atlantic.
say that this Prime Minister has made it clear to me that he is willing to work with me and Alberta's government to accomplish that shared goal. And that, my friends, is something that we have not seen from a Canadian Prime Minister in over a decade. And it is my firm belief that Albertans from right across the political spectrum, whether they be staunch federal Conservatives or Liberals or New Democrats or something else.
What was she going to call the NDP?
Staunch federal Conservatives or Liberals or New Democrats or something else, they expect me as their premier to partner with this federal government to seize this long-awaited opportunity for our province. I've spoken at length about the need to build more pipeline infrastructure, to export more oil to hungry Asian markets, and to diversify our customer base. I have repeatedly stated how critical it is to reform a broken regulatory environment that is scaring away investment and demoralizing our energy entrepreneurs here at home. And I have asked repeatedly for the federal government to cease their attempts to throttle our energy industry, repeal or overhaul their 9 bad laws, and work with Alberta to grow our energy sector for the benefit of the entire country. And today's agreement is the first step in accomplishing all of these critical objectives and unleashing the power and promise of Alberta's energy sector in a way never seen before in this country.
Because oil is best, too.
This agreement means the end of the punitive oil and gas emissions caps so that our great energy producers can grow and thrive again.
Yes, that's what we need, is a end to the emission caps.
This agreement means the immediate suspension of the federal net zero power regulations in Alberta, which had placed our electrical grid at a very serious risk of failure and limited any hope of substantial investment in AI data centers and applications development. This agreement includes a clear path to the construction of an over 1 million barrel per day Indigenous co-owned bitumen pipeline to Asian markets so that our province and our country are no longer dependent on just one customer to buy our most valuable resource. This agreement also allows for needed adjustments to the tanker ban when the new pipeline to Asia is approved by the Major Projects Office, as well as
Notice how she isn't mentioning BC. It's just a pipeline to the people that want to buy it. I don't know where it's going, but it's a pipeline to where we want it to be.
Amendments that will ensure our companies are able to advertise their environmental leadership and efforts throughout the world without a fear of penalty. And this agreement also means that Alberta will be a world leader in the development and implementation of emissions reduction infrastructure, particularly in carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Alberta has a unique opportunity to show the entire world that the solution for reducing emissions does not entail capping productivity, growth, or innovation in oil and gas development. Rather, it is to leverage the profitability of the oil and gas sector to invest in the very technologies that will revolutionize all industries in their effort to reduce emissions globally. This agreement means Alberta will work with our federal partners and the Pathways companies to commence and complete the world's largest carbon capture, utilization, and storage infrastructure project. It will also make Alberta heavy oil the lowest intensity barrel on the market and displace millions of barrels of heavier emitting fuels around the globe. This is Alberta's moment of opportunity. Our opportunity to show the nation, as well as the entire world, that resource development and emissions reduction can not only coexist, but can actually complement one another for the benefit of billions of people around the world. Alberta is willing to take on and conquer the challenge as partners with the federal government. Now, I need to be clear, the government is just this agreement with the government is just the first step in this journey. there is much more hard work to be done. Trust must be built and earned in the partnership as we move through the next steps of this process, whether that be working with the federal government to prepare our bitumen pipeline submission for the Major Projects Office, or putting together the final elements of a carbon pricing agreement that will be implemented through the province's tier program that balances competitiveness with accountability for heavy emitters. And although I am not blind to the fact that the people of Alberta have had the rug pulled out from underneath them too many times to count over the past 10 years, I also know that a new relationship and a new beginning needs a starting point grounded in good faith. And today, I hope, is that new starting point. So I do want to thank the Prime Minister. So I do want to thank the Prime Minister as well as his team for working with my team to get this agreement to the finish line. I'd also like to thank our negotiating team, and that included Ministers Jason Nixon and Rajan Sawhney, along with my Chief of Staff, Rob Anderson, and Deputy Ministers Liam Stone and Larry Comeyer for the great work that they did on this initiative. And I'm excited, as is my government and our UCP MLAs, to roll up our sleeves and to continue the work over on this remarkable opportunity for Alberta and for Canada. And with that, I'd be happy to take questions.
All right, I'm going to pause that for a second because we also have Carney reporters after this as well.
All right, I'll just take a couple of questions. Obviously, big day for Alberta, big day for Canada, big day for building, big day for the trades. I want to thank Sean Strickland from the CBTU, Canadian Building Trades Union. I want to thank Jay and Colin here at Local Iron Workers and everyone for hosting Ministers Olszewski, Mr. Hodgson, Corey Hogan. Great group here, as I say, big day and a start of much more. On va commencer. Quelques questions.
We'll be ready to take questions.
Yep.
First question.
Pas de questions, no questions. Okay, no, just kidding.
Yes, please.
There's the mic over there.
First question, première question.
Anissa Dari, CBC. Prime Minister, are you willing to approve a pipeline even if British Columbia or affected First Nations don't agree? Would you compensate them instead?
Well, just to be clear, this agreement today between Alberta and the Government of Canada, it's the first step. It's an example of cooperative federalism. We're agreeing in partnership and in a spirit of trust. But what has to happen, several things have to happen before a pipeline is built. And one of those is a private sector proponent. Secondly, goes directly to your question, which is that there needs to be full partnership, including equity ownership, substantial economic benefits with First Nations in Alberta, First Nations in British Columbia, as well as agreement and substantial economic benefits for the people of British Columbia. So we look at this as the start of a process. We've created some of the necessary conditions for this to happen. But there's a lot more work to do, and very much in the spirit of partnership. Et en français, c'est un grand moment pour l'Alberta et pour le Canada, pour le secteur privé et substantiel.
You mentioned them there.
Well, if there's not a private sector proponent, there won't be a pipeline.
Any private
discussion, processus de partenariat.
Just to follow up to that, what if there aren't any private sector proponents? You mentioned them there.
Well, if there's not a private sector proponent, there won't be a pipeline. I mean, and let me say another thing, if I could, just to take advantage of your question, which this agreement's about much more than just a pipeline. Pipeline's obviously an important component to this, and specifically as a priority of Pipeline to Asia. But it's also the Pathways Project, the world's largest carbon capture storage project, a project that will make Alberta energy, specifically oil and gas, competitive for the long term because it'll make it low carbon. A project that will create an entirely new industry, an industry that needs workers, like the workers here. It's also about nuclear, building nuclear capacity in Alberta, building interties, transmission interties. We need a lot of iron for transmission interties with British Columbia, with Saskatchewan. So we have a much more efficient and competitive and lower cost grid. And it's about building AI data centers. that are sovereign, to use the word. So that means that we control in Canada our data, our information, our intelligence, if I can put it that way. So it's a very ambitious and comprehensive partnership, and there's many things that can be done going forward.
Et aussi en français.
En français, c'est alors s'il n'y a pas un acteur dans le secteur privé pour le pipeline, il n'y aura pas ni inclus l'énergie. Peut-être il y a beaucoup à faire d'ailleurs.
Laurence Tachereau, Radio-Canada, on va
En
poursuivre
anglais?
en français. Puis ensuite en anglais, si vous voulez bien. Comment pensez-vous être en mesure de garder Stephen Guilbeault au sein de votre cabinet après avoir signé cet accord?
Cet accord, c'est le commencement qui combiné renforcement du province d'Alberta $. C'est et maintenant. Alors, ça, c'est en ce qui concerne les réductions de gaz à effet de serre.
Si je veux juste faire un suivi là-dessus, est-ce que c'est suffisant parce qu'il y a une menace de...
Il faut avoir en grande échelle des systèmes d'électricité dont l'énergie ici on a réduire les. What is in this agreement are the components, the two things. One is an agreement that then is finalized and made more specific over the course of the next several months by the start of April. But at its core is tightening the tier system, which is the industrial carbon price system here in Alberta, to a level of at least $130 with a pass price from there. What does that mean? It means more than a 6 times increase in the price, industrial price of carbon, from its effective level, which is much lower than the headline level, the effective level, to the level that's committed in the agreement. That's the first thing. The second is methane reductions in methane, 75% reductions in methane by 2035, that commitment that's there. Thirdly, it creates the conditions for this big investment in the Pathways Project, the largest in the world, which will have huge reductions in emissions, the equivalent of taking more than 90% of the cars and trucks off the roads here in Alberta in the first phase of that project. It also creates the conditions for nuclear power and the conditions for interties between British Columbia, which is a clean grid, with Saskatchewan, with the Northwest Territories and Yukon, all to make it more efficient, more sustainable. You know, we are going to get to our greenhouse gas objectives, our climate objectives, by only through massive investment. And so we need agreements like this in order to drive that massive investment. That's why this is that's one of the reasons why this is a good day for Alberta, a good day for Canada, and that's what the government of Canada is committed to doing. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Merci. Thank you.
Someone gave me a name of someone's opinion that I was supposed to look at after this, and I can't remember the name. Emily Lowen. Thank you, Guernsey. Mark Carney and Danielle Smith's MOU is an abuse of power and a spit in the face to British Columbians. They will never ram a pipeline through BC without the consent of coastal First Nations and northern communities, and we will make effing sure of it. Love it. Love it, love it. Valid. 100% valid. And there'll probably be more in response to this over the next couple days. Oh boy. And I will cover the rest of that Monday. As I am assuming y'all don't want to sit and listen to Danielle Smith app for a while. Do you want to see some positive Alberta news? And then we'll wrap up the stream for today. Yeah, fair, Elephant. Alrighty, here we go.
Well, you can't say that Alberta politics are boring. I mean, we have last time.
Yeah, Laurel, that's kind of what it feels like. It kind of feels like he brought this agreement because Danielle Smith has been pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and this gives a little bit of like, yeah, maybe. And we'll have to see what happens when British Columbia in general and the First Nations respond. That will be the important response here.
I checked, we had 14 or 15 recalls of members of the Legislative Assembly, and now it looks like we have more. And to make sense of this mess, I'm going to talk to Deirdre Mitchell-McLean, who's a writer of the Substack Women in Ab Poly. So welcome to the interview, Deirdre.
Nice to be here, Marco.
Did I get it right? I never ever get it, your introduction right, because I always screw up the Substack.
Yeah, exactly,
did I get it right this time?
No, it's Women of AB Poly.
Oh.
AB, yeah. I mean, Ab Poly, they might find me anyway, but yeah, it is AB Poly.
This is why I asked. Thank you very much for the clarification. Now, explain the recalls like I'm a 5-year-old, which
I love. If you're living in Alberta, check your MLA and see if there's a recall. There is one for not the riding that I'm in, but the one beside the riding that I'm in. So there's quite a few.
Is the best way to talk to me, by the way. But anyway, explain the recalls.
So in 2021, Jason Kenney's UCP put in recall legislation, and this has been for the longest time a Wild Rose Party wish list, right? They wanted recall legislation. Once the parties were together, Jason Kenney finally did it. Now, Jason Kenney had promised to do this, not because he thought Alberta needed recall legislation, but because the NDP were elected. And there was, I mean, it's basically just the base that really wanted this. They wanted to be able to get rid of NDP MLAs. How could they have possibly formed government in Alberta? I don't buy any of the stuff they're talking about now, how, it's just for egregious acts, because it's not. The party leaders have been very good, Jason Kenney especially. When there are egregious acts by the MLAs, the party leader expels them from caucus. So this is for the public recall to recall an MLA. The way that the UCP had put it is, we will give Albertans the opportunity to fire MLAs, right? Keep them accountable in between elections. This was their whole shtick, and now it's being used.
And, for people like Canadians outside of Alberta, this may not make a lot of sense. But inside Alberta, I mean, I lived there for 10 years. I'm back there all the time. I get the political culture. And
yeah, the political culture here is not amazing. They are not having a good time.
There is a sense of entitlement by many conservatives that Alberta is a conservative province. And if you aren't on board with their brand of conservatism, you can get out. And, And so this sense of, how dare an NDP MLA be elected in this province, and we need, a tool, that makes perfect sense within the context of Alberta political culture.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, yes. And it was like, I don't think
BC has had recall legislation since 95, but it's never actually been used.
It's bad legislation. Right? It just is. And I think the reason that it's bad legislation is because they never considered the possibility that it would be used against them. It was to be used against the NDP. It was to be used if anybody else formed government. And it was ridiculous. Demetrios Nicolaitis, he's the first person who got the petition against him. And he was one of the ones in 2015, I believe it was, who was like, no, we need recall legislation, and for any reason, it doesn't matter, right? So this is something
that's the education minister in Alberta.
Everybody knows this is why the recall legislation was put in.
Yeah, Jenny Yermy, who's a friend of mine, was had her on to explain, because she led the the recall petition against Nicolaides, and so she came on our show to talk about that and why she did it. And Nicolaides, of course, is the Minister of Education, and I believe shortly before that, the UCP government had used the notwithstanding clause to send 51,000 striking teachers back to work. There's a lot of anger amongst the teachers and amongst parents, and Jenny was one of those. That's why she kicked off the first recall. Now, how many do we have now?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I have to count. I think there's 14.
Wow.
Right, but I would have said 15, but were there a couple today? I thought I saw an email that...
It is 14. That's because I did write them all down. So it's 14 MLAs in total at the moment. But the thing is that they have them all kind of on the chopping block. There is support in, I think, many ridings to have a recall of their UCP MLA. So whether or not they're actually going to get them going in every riding, I can't say for certain, but that I believe is a goal.
All right, so here are it is astronomical. It is huge. Like Guernsey said, there's been one in BC and it didn't even go all the way through. So these are the ones and their status. So Dimitrios Nicolaides, as of, there's still a signature collection period going on. Angela Pitt for Airdrie East. Petition issued. Nolan Dyke in Grand Prairie. Miles McDougall in Calgary Fish Creek. Rick McIver, which is the Speaker of the House. They are in the process of getting signatures. A number of them have the amount of signatures already, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. Mohammed Yassin in Calgary North. Rajan Swahini. R.J. Sigurdsson in Highwood. Dale Nally in Warrenville, St. Albert. Glenn Van Dyken in Athabasca, Barhead, Westlock. Jackie Lovely in Camrose. Nathan Newdorf, Lethbridge East. And Jason Stefan, Red Deer South. And Carla Turton in Spruce Grove, Stony Plain. How many MLAs in total? 87. That is both parties. The number of UCP MLAs. Yes, we need 5 MLAs to actually get recalled for the UCP to drop below majority. Correct. The number. Yeah. 15. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Anyway. This is the statement from Rick McIver. The people of Calgary Hayes have trusted me through 4 elections. As minister, I work tirelessly to strengthen government's accountability. Claims of neglecting infrastructure are false. My proudest achievements include securing agreements with the Tsuut'ina Nation to complete the ring road. And as speaker, I'm a non-partisan parliamentarian removed from government policy. This recall is not about my conduct. It's a coordinated attempt to overturn democratic elections. That's Rick McIver's response. Jason Stefan. Here's all the amazing things I have done. So don't vote me out. Nathan Newdorf. I respect the democratic process. However, recall legislation was designed for cases of serious misconduct, not policy disagreements. Jackie Lovely. I stand by every vote I have cast in legislature. My office works diligently. This summer I completed my 13th round of door knocking. To suggest that I've been unresponsive is simply incorrect. I remain fully committed to being accessible, accountable, and engaged. Ben Van Dyken. Region is built, blah, 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 blah. This is all the things that I do. I will never stop fighting for rural Albertans. That's not super helpful. Dale McNally. Warning. What? According to Elections Alberta, Joshua Eberhardt does not vote in provincial elections. This person here. His response here is that this person does not actually vote. The question then becomes, how does someone who does not vote get talked into leading a recall? I believe Mr. Eberhardt acts as a proxy for Alberta Resistance, a left-wing activist group weaponizing recall legislation to target UCP MLAs. This approach contradicts the spirit of recall legislation, and therefore this application is without merit. I support action to balance children's rights. Don't vote me out, because things. So a number of people blaming what's their name? Oh yeah, they literally looked up the election records. Anti-democratic, move the goalposts when you don't like the laws. Yep, exactly. Miles McDougall. I will continue listening. I'm just mostly looking to see how many of these people mention the. What's the name of the guy? The union guy in Alberta. Why am I having issues with names today? McGowan. Thank you. How many of them are blaming Bill McGowan? I'm fully committed to being accessible. For example, I met Casey Klein in person on August 25th and responded to her multiple emails within 3 business days. Okay. Nolan Dyke is not listening. No member statement here. And of course, Demetrius Licknicolaitis. A recall of an MLA should not proceed when the stated reason is dissatisfaction with government policy. Recalls should be reserved for breaches of public trust, ethical violations, or dereliction of duty, not a shortcut to trigger a new election over political differences. So, it is a good reason. Absolutely it is. And you have every legal right in Alberta to do so. And it's something that the UCP government set up to do. Yeah, so that is the number of people under recall.
Okay, now the Premier Danielle Smith has made some fairly outrageous comments about this. You know, basically, you know, this is outrageous. How dare they? How dare the citizens of Alberta try to overthrow my government? Maybe you could give us a little insight into what she's been saying.
That's pretty much been it. She's blaming the unions. She's blaming left-wing groups. And now there is a group, AB Resistance, and that is run by Marg Toker, and she has essentially acted as a hub. So when people are upset, when people are talking about recall, she has reached out to them, and she has basically just kind of built a contact list. So if someone comes to her and says, okay, I'm going to do this, she's just connecting them with other people who have also reached out to her. So she's sort of, she was sort of acting as this central person who was talking about getting those recall petitions off the ground. And it's essentially what it's worked out to be is that she's there to be able to offer people that connection and more information on actually doing the recall, what they need to do, how they need to do it, rules, things like that.
I get the DMs and emails from Mark all the time.
Let's see. You missed Mark Carney giving Danielle a taste of success in the pipeline, and scapegoating the union since 1902, 100%. If you want to know more about the Alberta government and unions, hey, Salmon Fry, check out our friend Anu the Archivist on Saturday. He is going to be, let's see if I can spell your name correctly the first time. He is going to be doing a video live on Saturday evening talking about some of the history of labor and unions in Alberta, if that is something that interests you. E6979. Yeah.
So I gather that she's a bit of an activist and kind of a clearinghouse for, as you say, for, like a liaison, a connection, as it were. So it'll link people up. Okay. So once the Elections Alberta certifies the petition, and then, if I understand this correctly, they have to get a certain percentage of the folks who voted in the last election, and once that happens, then can a recall of an MLA can be recalled, or there has to be a vote on it? How does that work?
Yeah, so
Olafin, can you send me a link to that? Because I'm only getting Facebook posts.
It's not the be-all, end-all, even if they do get the petition with enough signatures. So yes, it's 40% of the recent vote, or sorry, the recent electoral votes that came in, and that was actually just recently reduced by Danielle Smith because I don't know, she wanted to make it easier for people to recall municipal councillors and mayors. So that was recently brought down from 60% of the riding total. And so it's a huge difference, to be honest, but it's not, it's still not really a great or an easy number to hit unless you're municipal. Just throwing that out there. So this is something that once they get if they get those signatures and Elections Alberta verifies it, then there's actually a referendum vote. Do you want to have, or sorry, do you really want to recall this MLA?
I recommend following Nitty on TikTok for detailed UCP. Yeah.
So there's a second opportunity for that to fail before it even does anything at all. If they decide, if that were to pass, basically the UCP would just get a different candidate to run, and there would be a by-election. So this is one area where I try and caution people who are saying, well, the NDP will win. Nah, maybe not. Like, they're not going to run unopposed. So, you need to be aware that this will be a by-election with other members running.
Yeah, the chatter on my social media accounts is not that somehow this, a number of MLAs are going to be removed and then somehow the government will fall or it will trigger an election sooner than 2027. It's that there finally seems to be an outlet for frustration against the UCP government and Danielle Smith in particular. And I can see where that would bother, where she would get riled. First of all, she's got a notoriously thin skin.
Oh yeah.
But secondly, it's the kind of, I mean, there were a lot of ridings where it just didn't take that many votes and she would have lost. And if people are this angry and have a means of organizing and getting ready for 2027 provincial election, I can see why she's, bent out of shape.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, a lot of these, like a lot of the petitions that have been approved, they're in rural. Uh, there's really not a huge hope that this is going to work, but it might.
And I think that's what's important to remember. Just because there's this many recalls doesn't mean that suddenly the UCP is going to be overthrown, but it does send a very, very large message. Yeah, exactly. If the people are doing recalls, they're very dissatisfied. And this is a large number of recalls for one election season.
And this is something that I've put out myself and said, you know what? Conservatives should be willing to sign this as well, because it's not like they are resigned to having an NDP MLA or a Liberal or whomever. Like, they still get to vote on another UCP MLA. They should actually want to test this and see whether or not it can be done. So that's my pitch.
Now, let's talk about this in terms of a little more philosophical tones, because Deirdre, I've been doing a little work lately on our Substack essays and the odd video about authoritarian libertarianism, because this idea, as it comes from Professor Trish Roberts Miller at University of Texas at Austin, and the idea is that this is a form of this weird amalgam of authoritarianism and libertarianism. And what it comes down to is when Henry Ford said, you can have your car in any color you want as long as it's black. And Danielle Smith will say, you can have as much freedom as you want as long as I approve of it. And if I don't approve of it, then I will take whatever measures are necessary to stop you or to prevent you or to limit your freedom. Her response to this seems pretty consistent with that philosophy. It's like, how dare you use the legislation that I set up or we agreed on was only for NDP MLAs, and how dare you use it against my government? That is kind of an authoritarian impulse on her part, is it not?
Impulse. She seems to have a lot of authoritarian impulses.
Oh, I would fully agree. And I mean, but Danielle Smith is really good at starting and creating creating narratives. So the narrative that she has chosen is that this is an abuse. This is legislation that is being abused by the left, by unions. And she's also said that, well, unions are busing people in. And this happened yesterday, I believe, in question period. And I'm like, yeah, pics or it didn't happen. Prove some of these allegations.
Oh, and 100%. She keeps making all these statements, but she has no proof.
Because the unions themselves are saying, yeah, no, they are basically willing to take on, what Mark has been doing. And hey, if our members want to get involved, yeah, we're going to connect them, because absolutely, this is what we're here for.
Well, and it's kind of a recall for thee and not for me kind of. It's the entitlement here is kind of gobsmacking, and
it would be gobsmacking if we hadn't seen the amount of entitlement that has been displayed by this government for years now.
I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's actually really par for the course here.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not surprised at all. Sadly.
Okay, let's take a look out in the next little while. Are we expecting more recalls? And if not, if this is the end of it, where does the process end?
Oh, that's a great question. And I think, like I said, I believe that all of the UCP MLAs are on the chopping block.
Exactly, Sharon. Let's be clear. It is shocking that there's this many recalls, not that Danielle Smith has responded the way that she has.
At least according to, there's a website, operationtotalrecall.ca, and you can see kind of who's been approved for recall, who's up next. They really are looking at all of them. And a lot of it surrounds, number one, use of the notwithstanding clause, that is now like in its fourth use, I believe. They have also extended the fall sitting until December the 11th. It was originally supposed to to end, put me out of my misery next week. It's going an extra couple of weeks now. So I'm really looking forward to that. But we're expecting that Danielle Smith is going to make some adjustments to the recall legislation.
Yes, that would be shock, given that it's being used against her, and her outrage over that happening. Deirdre, a pleasure as always. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you, Markham.
Yeah.
I got five.
Again, not super surprising considering who it is, but all right. Quickly, we're gonna do this petition, and then I desperately need to rest before this evening. Yeah, drink some water, all of the above. This is a petition to the House of Commons. Section 107 of the Canada Labour Code gives sweeping undemocratic powers to the minister responsible for labour relations to violate the right to strike, allowing the minister to direct the Canada Industrial Relations Board to do whatever the government subjectively deems necessary to secure industrial peace. Liberal ministers have interpreted this to mean they can end a strike by sending an email. The Government of Canada has repeatedly invoked Section 107 to violate the right to strike, including against striking postal workers, rail workers, port workers, and flight attendants. The Minister of Jobs and Families invoked 107 less than 12 hours after CUPE flight attendants began their strike. In 2016, the Supreme Court recognized that the right to strike is essential and indispensable. At a time when countless workers across Canada are seeing costs for essentials like housing, groceries, and transportation, our leaders should be promoting fair collective bargaining and livable wages. So, this is a petition that was started by... It's Leah Gazan, right? I believe so. I'm looking wrong. Aw, thanks, friend. We are about to end the stream, but I'm going to post this in the comments here if this is something that you would like to sign. It needs X amount of signatures before it gets brought to the house. Yeah, okay. I would love if y'all came back tonight for the NDP leadership debate. Again, we're going to be starting around... We'll take a drink of my tea, the last little bits of it. We're hopefully going to be starting around half an hour before. No guarantees, just because I'm on mom time. That is the goal. Thanks, Dr. Bastrings. And I have to pick kiddo up a couple hours afterwards. So, couple of quick things. Number one, if you would like to vote for the leader of the NDP, make sure that you sign up on the NDP website for a membership. And if you would like to watch the debate tonight en français, then check out our friend Fea, who will be streaming it at the same time. If not, feel free to share the link to the live with people you think would like to watch the debate.
The North American house hippo is found throughout Canada and the eastern United States.
Yes, it is. Thank you for your Stuskers. Or partly in French, yeah. And yeah, share the live around. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you or all of you here tonight. And yeah, will be. Oh, that's so loud. Why so loud, friends? Sorry, everybody. $18:30 Eastern. Yeah. Thank you for joining me this morning on this little bit of an impromptu live. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna raid you guys over to somebody that I watch when I need a comfort stream. I don't know her super well. I believe she's from the States, but she is just one of those creators that you switch on her content and your whole being just like, that's so lovely. So head on over there, say hello from us, and we'll give our little hippos. If y'all can put that message into the chat when we get there, that helps people know and see that we're coming in. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this morning. We will see, hopefully, most of you tonight. And if not, have an excellent, excellent rest of your Thursday. Jeez, the tyranny of raids. Thank you, Salmon Fry. Alrighty, here we go. Have a great rest of your day, y'all. Much love to everybody. The Tyranny of Raids is an excellent bad name. And I will see you all tonight. Night, y'all. Afternoon, y'all. May needs a nap, y'all. Bye.